Xander glides onto Ramsey Lake, casts his line, and lands a lively fish. Who? With John's knee acting up, they aim to minimize portaging on Ramsey Lake to keep the journey smooth. He guides the canoe to shore, searching for a campsite near the vibrant orange mushrooms. Despite the heavy rain and strict fire ban, Xander lights his gas stove under the tarp to boil water. Xander battles relentless deer flies mid-bite. He slaps his face, holding up a squashed victim to show the brutal reality of dining in the wild. Golden hour fades as clouds swallow the sun, plunging camp into twilight. Moisture clings to leaves while rain hammers the lake, signaling nature's fury. Dawn breaks with a profound stillness pulling back the tent flap. Xander steps out into the crisp morning air, where the first rays of sunlight pierce through the canopy, washing the rain-soaked camp in a serene golden glow. Out on the mirror-like surface alone, loon glides effortlessly, its haunting call echoing through the pines. It is a tranquil masterpiece of the wild, a peaceful reward for surviving the night's tempest. Xander hooks a walleye and nets it, shouting to John. They debate keeping the catch, weighing its value against the choice of conservation. He slips the fish back into the depths with a triumphant grin. Xander tallies the score, 1 for him, 0 for John. John and I are splitting up for the next 2 hours. He's going to the west side of this island. I'm going to the east. We're going to reconvene at the ends, at a campsite, eat some lunch, and then continue on the rod jerks. Xander drops the paddle, grabbing the camera, shades up. Xander reels, hard eyes fixed on the churning water. He feels a strong catch beneath. He manages the tension to prevent a snap, reading the fish's moves based on its power. He guesses it is a pipe. The line goes slack as the pike throws the hook, vanishing into the deep. Xander stares at the empty lure, heartbroken as his trophy slips away. Reunited, the tension melts into banter. Their sarcastic remarks about missing each other spark laughter, proving their deep camaraderie. Lunchtime arrives. Xander flaunts a loaded wrap, planning to eat 3 John Just granola. The next morning greets them with the sound of lingering drips unzipping the tent. Xander peers out at the overcast sky, sighing at the sheer volume of rain that battered their camp through the night. Over oatmeal, John spots a squashed mosquito on Xander's cheek, teasing his lack of awareness. Back on the water, Xander faces 2 short portages to reach Indian Lake for days of paddling. Xander feels a sharp tug and grins, hoping it is a fish. He keeps tension on the barbless hook, reeling in a solid walleye. Xander strikes the fish. He notes the sharp spines, calling it perfect timing for a feast. Good meal, perfect timing too. Yep. Xander fires up the stove, showing off bread mixed from his buddy Keenan. A touch of civilization in the deep woods. Phillips sizzle in hot oil, turning golden. Xander flips them, inhaling the rich aroma. He tops the tortilla with fish, scallions, cheese, and sauce. One bite earns a satisfied hum matched by John's approval.
Yo.
Xander hints at a secret weapon for the portage into Indian Lake. A rail cart could turn this grueling carry into an effortless ride. Xander hoists the canoe onto his shoulders, finding the promised rail cart is missing. Sweat dripping, he reaches the shore, dropping the boat with a thud. He wryly accepts day 3's reality, no shortcuts, just the raw grind of a traditional portage. Xander finds the trolley in the lake, laughing at his mistake. He leaves it for the trip back. The reel clicks sharply. Xander identifies the pike and guides it toward the boat. He lifts the pike to show its fear-spotted beauty. John. Well, at least it didn't work. It's a fish arriving at Indian Lake. Xander plans to spend 3 full days exploring the area. John cheers as he lands the pike. He flashes a proud grin at Xander, showing off his catch. John releases the hefty pike, promising that tomorrow they will eat like kings. Xander hauls the canoe onto the rocks and pitches their red and white tent, securing a dry base for the night ahead. Oh, so nice. Oh yeah. What I'm talking about, Xander smiles at John, announcing their dinner wilderness pizzas, a technique learned from his friend. Xander drops dough into the hot pan, layering it with cheese when over here. We love it on this channel. But Xander forages through the low brush, plucking perfectly ripe blueberries. It is a sweet, natural bonus from the wild. Zipping up the tent, Xander settles in for days of fishing and foraging at Indian Lake. They were on Indian Lake so far. It's, kind of dreamy. Pretty pumped to be here anyways. It's about 8:30, so we're gonna hit the hay. See you guys in the morning. Xander wakes, rubbing sleep from his eyes as morning light filters through the tent mesh. Xander sits in the rocking canoe, carefully inspecting his green lure with a deep and intense focus. John scoops up the feisty pike its body, thrashing wildly in the net as water sprays everywhere.
Come here. It's okay. Come here.
With his new wink companion perched firmly on his shoulder, Xander sets off, proving that in the deep wilderness, even the smallest creatures can become your closest allies. He just, savoring the sweet wild flavor of fresh blueberries, Xander declares it an absolutely perfect day. A massive bald eagle swoops down, snatching the scraps from the water with lethal precision and raw power. High up in the canopy, the apex predator tears into its prize, its piercing gaze and stark white feathers captured in stunning detail through John's telephoto. John seasons the fresh catch with lemon pepper, while sizzling oil heats up, promising a feast no five-star restaurant could replicate. As the perfectly seared golden-crusted walleye melts in their mouths, a silent toast is shared, cementing the undeniable magic of turning the day's hard-earned catch into a wilderness banquet.
Oh. Oh.
Xander reflects on a 3-hour lunch that offered an intimate front-row seat to the island's vibrant wildlife. From eagles to bees, every encounter fuels their momentum as they dig paddles back in, pushing deeper into the bay. Xander paddles into Earl Lake, eyeing the ominous clouds gathering on the horizon as the weather begins to turn. An ancient stone chimney emerges from the brush, a silent sentinel hinting at a forgotten chapter of this wild landscape. John points to the ruins, recalling how the Prince of Wales was once scheduled to visit a royal promise that ultimately faded away. Two Tales explain the cabin's demise, torched by angry locals or burned by the government to dodge liability. The ashes of this royal snub remain a potent legend. They gaze at the massive stonework, awed by the lost architectural masterpiece. Xander spots a massive rainstorm and hopes to thread the needle between the two brewing systems. Paddling hard before the storm, Xander sees a silver lining. This rain could finally lift Northern Ontario's fire ban. Under the tarp, Xander lays out dehydrated meals. Simple, efficient rations that prove survival trumps luxury. Xander lightens the mood with a rhyme, butchering the phrase into comedy. Xander bursts into hearty, infectious laughter, instantly dissolving the day's exhaustion, as the downpour intensifies into a relentless drumbeat against the canopy. The fading light signals the end of the day, wrapping the camp in a cold, watery embrace. Morning breaks not with sunlight, but with thick fog clinging to tents and shrouding pines, transforming the campsite into a mystical realm. Xander reels in a thrashing pike, its splash shattering the mist. Xander lifts the golden-spotted pike, showcasing its long snout and teeth, then gently releases it back into the water.
Ooh.
Sinking into the suspended mesh of his hammock, Xander cheers, having carved out a cozy sanctuary in the underbrush. Sizzling cheese and cured meat fill the air as a rustic cast-iron pizza takes shape. A culinary miracle conjured over a simple campfire. Exhausted but happy, Xander eyes their cool campsite, ready to relax for hours before sleep. Xander wakes in his hammock, bathed in morning sun, greeting the crisp air from his suspended canopy bed. The lake churns with white caps, but the wind at their backs turns the rough ride into a 3. The rod bends violently as Xander battles the powerful runs, revealing the gleaming gold scales of a massive wall. Just as the line snags on submerged timber, the tension shifts from a frustrating hang-up to an explosive tug-of-war as Xander locks horns with a leviathan. Hiding in the deep, Xander finally nets the colossal walleye, proudly declaring it the undisputed crown jewel of their expedition. Leaving the water behind, they discover a rusted rail cart loading their gear onto the wooden base to ease the grueling portage. They lift the red and green canoes onto the cart, carefully securing them for the long haul ahead. On the wooden dock, Xander prepares the twin walleye on the board. Xander rinses the fillets in the lake, then cuts them into perfect pieces for the pan.
Usually have a little.
Fighting into the loaded wraps, the rich fish and cheese deliver pure bliss, rewarding their hard labor with a meal that tastes like victory. Back on Bisco Tossi Lake, Xander faces a grueling 15-20 kilometer paddle K. I'm not here today, because it's a long drive home. And that looks like rain. Xander spots a swarm of aggressive red ants, forcing him to move his tent aside to avoid their painful bites. Without hesitation, Xander dives into the icy lake, shouting loudly to combat the bone-chilling cold. Xander displays crushed deer flies on a black pot, turning the pests into a grim yet humorous trophy. 2. It's so gnarly. It's kind of fun when you're with deer flies at a fever pitch. Retreating to the tents by 7:30 is a tactical surrender to the swarm. Thunder shatters the silence. Rain hammers the tent like bullets, casting a red glow as Xander wakes in alarm, the storm raging outside.